Welcome to Top Shelf Nerds, the show for nerds by nerds about nerds. I'm Mr. DJ Fly High. With me are Buck and the Professor. We call ourselves Nerds Amalgamated, and today we have a list of interesting topics to talk about. So let's kick it off with Samsung Galaxy S9's new features.
The Samsung Galaxy S9 has been released during the week, and not a major shift in the actual physical presentation design, but there are some ridiculously cool adaptations of the technology and improvements. And also they've got the S9 Plus. So the S9 has the 5-inch screen and the S9 Plus has a 6.2-inch screen. The biggest changes in this, other than that, though, is to do with the camera. They've improved the aperture. So instead of having one set aperture size, you can alter it for low light, high light, and so forth. And yeah, when it's been changed, a geeky little thing for us is it looks like it's winking at you.
This would be cool. Like this would be a very good feature for a lot of photographers.
Well, that's the whole reason behind it is a lot of people are using their phone for their camera, and Samsung decided, well, let's boost up the entire process of the camera, so it's absolutely ridiculous some of the improvements they've made. The slow motion is now super slow, where it does 960 frames per second.
Oh,
that's impressive.
Yeah, very impressive.
Like this is like, I hesitate to say it, but revolutionary, groundbreaking move. Rather than worrying about changing the case and the shape of the phone, like they've smashed the market 7 months ahead when they brought when they brought the S8 and so forth with the pretty much full screen for the face of it, and now they're stepping outside the box with the camera and just going, you know what, let's really make it so that the technology we're offering is beyond anything else out there.
But one thing that'll be interesting about would be Apple's reaction to this. Would it make Apple go salty about this, or would they go, we'll just brush it off? Because there are other phones with a couple of good cameras, like the name escapes me now.
Yeah, but at the moment, like, it's more the fact that Samsung's going for the entire package, where some phones they focus on the one type of technology. Samsung seems to be going for the entire aspect.
Yeah, and I think that you're right about that one, because Samsung, it's right now just blowing the market apart. It's just right now with this new feature, it will just blow the market apart, and I think phone companies will have to up the game in the end.
Mm-hmm.
What I like about it is that it's an incremental upgrade. I think we're finally getting past the gimmick of smartphones, and this phone seems to be focusing on being quality product with interesting features, not just gimmicky features.
Yeah, that's like Apple, for a few of them, like when they had a couple of the upgrades, that was one of the major negatives against the phone, because a lot of people were complaining that there was no real upgrade difference between certain iPhone X, I think it was the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 7S or something like that. There was no real major variant involved in it at all. It was just a couple of tiny little gimmicks, and it was just apparently a brand new phone they were able to try and charge you ridiculous amounts of money for.
How much would the phones cost? How much would that phone cost outright on the online market? Would be
it looks like they're aiming for
$20 at the moment. Is the
US, of course.
Yeah, that's the targeted price at the moment on the S9. I don't know about the S9 Plus. With the one of the other features with the camera, it's actually taking 12 separate shots at once to combine into one 12 megapixel camera image to help reduce the pixelated noise and so forth that you get in some of the shots. So instead of just having a simple one shot, hope you get the best thing, this is they're pushing it and really making use of the digital aspect of it to bring you the best that it can be.
Yeah, my biggest fear with phones like these, with what's happened recently with Samsung, is the battery life, and I hope Samsung fixes the battery problem.
I don't
before-
think that'll be an issue again.
The battery problem they had before wasn't the actual battery life. It was there was a glitch in the design that made some of them overheat and explode.
Yeah, the issue was that they'd tried so hard to make the phone thinner that they didn't include the safety margin around the battery. So that if you got the phone slightly bent, it would contact the battery and could short it out.
Lucky the battery wasn't in the iPhone. That was
Oh,
bending.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was an interesting sales point. Yeah, buy our phone, put it in your pocket and watch it bend and crack.
I
come
assume
spend
that
another
was.
1,000.
I assume that one had more clearance around the battery.
Well, you'd hope so. Otherwise, there would have been lots of people all around the planet with holes in their hips.
Yeah,
and pockets and pockets.
Another thing, the S9 has come up with a response to Apple's Animojis, the augmented
yeah.
reality stuff that they were doing. Samsung has decided to come back with an AR emoji. So it's a cartoon version of yourself that's generated out of a camera, like a photo of you. Yeah.
So it's like the Wii, like those emojis, the avatars we see at the Wii. You know how when you play the Wii, there will be like a little avatar with the photo of your face.
no, that's
Um,
different.
This is something entirely different from what I can see.
This is generated from a photo. The avatars on Nintendo products are called Miis, and those are made out of like the Sims character creator.
And then these actually move and so forth as well. Like I'm looking at one of the websites, looking at some of the details, and the columnist Jeffrey Fowler, I'll give him a shout out here. He's actually used the feature, and he's got a cartoon image of himself there where he's leaning forward to say hello or something and raising his eyebrows. He says he looks kind of cross between himself and Jay Leno. But yeah, it's unlocking a lot of the technology and pushing it up to the next level. So
this will start another phone. This is going to be another phone war, like we had with the initial Galaxies and the iPhones. This will be the next phone war.
well, the war's never really ended. It's just Samsung is just pushing harder and harder because that's what the market wants, and Apple's trying to keep up. Like literally at the moment, Apple is a brand that is a license to print money because everyone's looking at it and going, "Yep, you've got so much high quality tech without the hype and gimmicks." So, hang on, sorry, I just found unlocked. The S9 is $720 US and $840 US for the S9 Plus.
So what's the bonus of the S9 Plus?
It's bigger.
As in like the screens and whatnot. Yeah.
I guess I don't know what I expected there.
So far, that's the only variance I can see in it. But yeah, for someone like myself, I prefer a larger phone, and yeah, it just makes it a little bit easier. And it's also good for some of the older area of the market where having a larger screen gives them a bit more space to see what's happening. So nothing super huge, I guess, as far as that side of things is concerned. But yeah, it's an extra 0.4 of an inch, so almost a half inch in difference.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, moving along. Let's talk about the warmer weather in the Arctic. That sounds interesting.
Well, the Arctic this week has been, I believe it's 20 degrees above normal at this time of year. At the same time, most of Europe is covered in snowstorms because the influence of the warmer weather in the Arctic is pushing cold air down into the European mainland.
Huh. So does that mean we're not going to be having end of the world scenarios up yet? Does that mean?
I'd say give it another 20 minutes.
So the south of rest, Europe is being hit hard. Like they've renamed the snowstorm the Beast from the East, and airports are all closed down. Public transports in Europe are all closed.
Yeah, it's because the weather's just so bad there at the moment.
Yeah. Although this is going to be interesting. How are the politicians going to play this out? Are they going
At least in some places like Brussels, the mayor of Brussels is planning to arrest homeless people if they don't seek shelter because it's going to be minus 10 degrees and it's just not safe for a homeless person to be on the streets in that sort of weather.
Yeah. In regards to that, I think you'll find a lot of the police in those areas generally take a look at the idea of it's safer to arrest a homeless person because it puts them into an environment where they're warm, they're safe, they're protected, and they're able to help them get the medical attention that they need.
Yeah, but I reckon the hospitals will be crowded by now with all the with the sudden dip in temperatures.
Well, or if the thing to consider is if the airports are closed because planes are having trouble to land, trains are going to be reducing operations because ice on the rails, that sort of stuff. Although Europe is usually pretty good with all that sort of stuff, but yeah, it's going to be good to see people actually start to spend time talking to each other.
Yeah.
You're too old, Bucky. You should go hang out with my grandpa. But
don't pick on your grandpa, fella, because us old
yeah,
blokes,
my grandpa's better than you.
Old blokes are really freaking tough.
I like to see. I want to see that happen. That would be pretty funny. Just watching Bucky and Professor's grandpa go at each other.
Well, we'll probably sit there and get along quite well. Both old farts that we are.
Anyway, the US National Snow and Ice Data Center has also announced that Arctic Ocean sea ice is at a record low for this time of year. So I think we're obviously seeing effects of higher temperatures melting the ice, which has been suggested by studies from decades ago would cause these freak weather events in Europe.
But here's the thing, though, like with all this like weather events happening, will this further enhance the goal of saying that there is climate change, we have to address it right now?
Yeah, I think so. I think once you see the effects of it and once things get more severe, it's going to be harder to be a climate change denier.
Yeah, like climate change is a reality, but we've also got to address the fact that strange weather patterns have been happening around the world for millennia. I remember there was someone talking on the news saying about, it is the temperature is such and such, and that is almost twice the temperature of the standard and all that. And it was unprecedented. But if you read back through some of the history books, and that was here in Queensland, if you read back through some of the history books, when you're looking at some of the stuff for droughts and so forth, you can see that a lot of the stuff was pretty bad. And if you look through some of the things, weather goes on a cycle, and we're just coming into the cycle where the weather's turned around and kicking butt and saying, hey, I gave you a nice, comfortable little period there. You haven't done well enough, so we'll just cut down on the number of the population and weed out the weakest parts of the gene pool.
I agree with you there.
Thanks, Adolf.
Pun?
Thanks, Adolf.
Sieg Heil, Mein Kampf.
Yeah, he speaks German.
He's a Nazi. Get him.
Be careful.
What did you say?
I think he tried to say I was a Nazi.
I swear I heard him say Nazi. What the hell is a Nazi?
I gotta fix my language chip.
This is our Android has gone funny again.
I gotta fix my language chip. It's mixing American with Australian.
It's mixing something with something. Don't know if it's actually human though.
Probably not.
Anyways, moving along. So Mark Hamill, he's apparently expressing interest to be in the upcoming Marvel movie, and so basically, the story is that we all know Mark Hamill. He's a big sci-fi icon, and so on
Who?
Twitter, apparently, a fan from went on Twitter and said, "Hey, hey, Guardians of the Galaxy director, James Gunn." He said, "Hey, would you like to include Mark Hamill into the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie?" And the guy goes, "If he's interested, do it. We'll do it." And Mark Hamill saw the conversation. He goes, "Okay, cool. Let's have a talk, and I'm interested." And they've decided to go on the private messages about this. So if it happens, that would be really cool to watch.
But I've heard a rumor that apparently Mark Hamill is being considered for being the Joker.
Again?
Not sure whether there's no actual real clear decision being made from what I've seen. I haven't been keeping up with the story for that, but apparently, yeah, I just remember seeing somewhere during the week where they were looking at the idea of having Mark Hamill as the Joker. And I've got to say, when you shave the beard off and you have him do the pose, he actually very reminiscent of Jack Nicholas as Nicholson, as the Joker.
Has Mark Hamill been the Joker in anything but the games?
Not that I'm aware of, but
Or isn't? I think he was in. He was in most of the Arkham Asylum games.
yeah,
The
That's
Arkham
what I
series.
literally just said.
we
Yeah.
said other than the games.
Other than the games, well, besides the DC.
We'll apologise there, folks. We'll upgrade the comprehension chip later. I don't know. He might have done some voice acting for some of the animation movies and so forth.
Yeah, I vaguely remember he might have been in The Killing Joke.
Yeah, he was there. Him and Mark Conway.
So honestly, I'd love to. I reckon he would be great in a live action Joker. He has the look. He has that craziness to the eyes.
Yeah, here it is. I've looked it up. He was the Joker in all of the animated series that I know of.
Yeah, I just found it myself. Animated series, Mask of the Phantasm, New Batman. So he already owns the role in the animated side.
Yeah.
And everyone loves DC animation.
Yeah.
Even the Marvel hippies enjoy.
Again with the Marvel bashing.
It's not bashing. I only call them hippies. I didn't say all the rest of the stuff that I normally say.
But if Mark, because Mark Hamill said like a couple of years back he retired from voice acting and now he's back. And then, what did you thought about the other voice actor for the Joker, Tom Baker?
Tom Baker. A British Joker would be different.
He was in the one role he did. I think he was in the Batman Origin games. I think it was Arkham Origins. That was the one.
Yeah, look, could be interesting, but as far as Mark Hamill retiring, he's retired a couple of times before. He just gets bored with being in the limelight and say forth too much, and yeah, then he turns around and he decides, yeah, I'm just going to come back and do some more stuff because I'm bored. And let's face it, he started off in Star Wars in 1970. Make sure I get it was 1970s. Completely blank.
While we're waiting for that, I've just looked up Tom Baker to check, and it doesn't seem like he has ever played the Joker before.
Wait, maybe I might have got the different name wrong. Hang on a second.
And are you sure you're thinking of Tom Baker, the Fourth Doctor, right?
Oh,
No,
I was just thinking, wasn't that a Doctor Who?
wait. Hang on a second. Mark Murray. It's not. It might not be Tom Baker. I might have got the name wrong. Sorry.
Yeah, I feel like you probably have.
And the first Star Wars movie, 1977, and at the time, Mark Hamill was saying, "Oh yeah, nobody expects this to go really well and last." And here we are, 2018, and he's still going strong as Luke Skywalker.
It's actually to clarify, by the way, it's Troy Baker, not Tom Baker. Sorry.
I would love to have seen Tom Baker do the Joker, because a Time Lord as the Joker would be an interesting twist.
Has he? I don't know if he's ever played a proper villain on TV.
Tom Baker.
Yeah,
Let me give a whirl.
there's a lot. He's done a lot of things, so actually, I wouldn't really know. But
Fourth Doctor, Remington Steele, The Silver Chair, Little Britain. Oh, he's
been in a lot of things.
yeah. He was in Star Wars Rebels. Not from where I can see, but yeah, no, I don't think he's ever played any villainous roles.
It would be really different having him playing like a genuine bad guy.
I'm curious. Speaking of bad guys, though, what did you thought about Jared Leto as the Joker?
I didn't see Suicide Squad, but the stories I heard about him just seemed ridiculous.
It was, it fitted in well with the rest of the movie, but overall, it was a bit of an insult to some of the other actors that have played the Joker over the years. And as much as I'd love to see Tom Baker play the Joker, he would currently be better off as an 84-year-old playing the part of either Alfred or going for the Penguin.
Oh yeah, but I don't know Penguin. I don't know. Danny DeVito played it well.
Yeah, but this is a guy who's 84. He's a little bit chubby. He has the eyes and so forth. But he is a towering person. He is 1.9 meters tall. So he, like Danny DeVito's relatively short. Tom Baker would come out as a towering penguin. I reckon it'd be interesting. He'd be more suited to that. And having him as the penguin with who's it plays Alfred in the last few Batman movies?
Michael Caine.
Sir
Michael Caine.
Could you imagine how cool a movie would be with Tom Baker and Michael Caine?
That would be amazing.
I don't care how pathetic the script would be. Just having those two guys there on screen together, they would make it better.
Oh, it would be beautiful. It would be beautiful. It would be beautiful just to see those two legendary actors on the big screen. Maybe for the last time, because time's getting on.
Tom Baker's not going to die. Shut your face.
We apologise, folks. This is probably likely to be the last episode that we will have the DJ, because he might come back in another incarnation. I think that after this episode, we're going to take him out into the backyard.
Don't worry, he feels no pain.
Belt him with sledgehammers and set him alight and melt him down. How dare you even suggest such a thing for either of those two men?
No.
Burn. I thought you were weird because you liked Marvel. Now you're just wrong.
Anyways, let's keep this. Oh.
You've probably caused him to die now. There was a guy on Reddit who said Alan Rickman was going to die, and then he did 2 days later. And so Harper Lee was going to die. So now you've probably cursed him to die, you bastard.
If he even cracks a fingernail, we'll make sure it lasts. And folks, it will hurt. We promise you that. It will hurt. He might be an android, but it will hurt.
Anyways, moving along. So the next topic we'll talk about is AT&T's recent loophole rejection. I believe Bucky, you told us about this one.
Yeah. AT&T have been in court for a couple of years now over this matter, where America's Fair Trade Commission, the FTC, actually attacked AT&T about this and took them to court for a breach of service and so forth. What it was about was the whole, like they had the package where they're offering unlimited data plans for the mobile phones or cell phones, and AT&T turned around and said the FTC has no power to be involved in this because they're under the telecommunications, so which I believe is the FCC. But yeah, the whole situation's been resolved in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals with a ruling on Monday saying that no, the FTC has the power and just stomped down on AT&T. So they're saying no, the loophole doesn't exist for you to squirm through. You're a company, you have to abide by the Fair Trade Commission rulings. And that was something that started back in 2014, I think it was, or something similar. But yeah, this is a further step in the discussion we had the other week about the arrogance of some of the technology companies that Bill Gates was saying about.
Here's the question though from this after this ruling: Will this be another battle for net neutrality?
Well, it's a hard one to say. Like there's been all sorts of claims that this was going to kill the internet and all that sort of stuff. What was happening was AT&T was saying unlimited data, but then once you got to a certain level, they just slowed down your internet access. So while they weren't stopping you having access, it moved slower than question and answer time at Parliament House.
Yeah, it's a really dodgy way to do it.
Yeah,
it was the whole false advertising and so forth and misleading customers. The big thing here is that in reality, it's actually going to be better to support net neutrality because if a company says that they're providing a certain service, they have to do it. And if they don't, then they're going to be getting squashed and stomped on. There's a legal precedent saying, no, you're not separate because you happen to be providing telecommunications stuff. You have to abide by fair conduct.
This will be a very interesting case in a sense where how much accountability would be placed on companies after this ruling.
Well, this is saying that the companies are being held accountable. So thumbs up to America on this one. This is a win for the consumer.
Yeah.
So I normally kick America in the shins and say it's got a lot of crazy stuff going on over there, but this is a situation where the reality is that one of the major government organisations has stepped up and defended the little guy and said, no, you said you're going to do this, you've got to actually do this.
Yeah, and I think Bill Gates was right that government intervention should be involved. Because you've seen these companies just going, yeah, the customers are just a bunch of dumb idiots. Let's screw them. Let's screw them. They don't really care.
Yeah.
And hopefully the FTC won't be taken over by the corporations like the FCC was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, the one thing to remember with this is originally in 2016, a court decision actually agreed with AT&T and said no, the FTC doesn't have the authority. It was then appealed, and the latest decision is saying no, you've missed all the jurisprudence and so forth, and so yeah, there were a lot of the legal experts and so forth that were watching this were absolutely stunned and saying that it's actually going against all of the precedents that are being set. It was considered a major blow to consumers where the companies were going to be going. And now here we are a couple of weeks after Bill Gates was saying that this is going to happen. The American government has come back and absolutely kicked them.
Just quickly, is there anything going on in the background? You've suddenly gotten a lot of background noise.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my neighbour is apparently doing a lot of hedge trimming over the back fence here somewhere.
Okay,
Sorry about that,
we
folks.
just have to deal with that then.
He normally does it on a Tuesday, but today's just different for some reason.
Must be the weather.
Yeah, don't talk to me about the weather. I've got to go mow the lawn again.
It never
Well,
ends, does it?
remember to mow your lawns, everyone.
Twice in 1 week is ridiculous.
Wow, grass grows that quickly? Wow.
It does down here.
Have you never been outside in your life?
I have been outside of my life, and I don't recall grass growing that quickly.
Yeah, you probably never mowed it yourself. Someone else always does it for you.
Maybe we could hook him up on a date with a lawnmower.
guys,
Yeah,
let's talk about this on a Valentine's Day special.
But that gives us a whole year to come up with really nasty things. Do you want to do that with the professor and myself?
Oh, I don't know. That's better than now.
Well, in preparation for Valentine's Day next year, everyone, we will be running a competition. Win a date with the DJ.
And we will ensure that he goes on it.
What did I talk myself into this time?
Yeah. So, Victor, you were saying something the other day about the ESRB's response about loot boxes.
Yes, they've decided that now they're going to stick that they're going to include whether a game has loot boxes or not on the ratings sticker.
Okay. Explain a bit more about what exactly is going to be entailed in that.
Well, because loot boxes are essentially gambling, if you have to pay money for them, you put in money and you don't know what you're going to get back out.
Mm-hmm.
The ESRB is under a lot of pressure to have a look and regulate it. So, since
So it'll be like an R rating sort of thing, and it'll say due to gambling practices.
Yeah, I've just realised I've got the wrong link open here. But from memory, it's just going to be a little in the data box at the bottom of the box where they have the reason for the rating, violent sexual content. They're going to include a loot boxes tag.
Okay.
So it's going to be like in those phone apps you would get like in-app purchases as well.
Yeah, that's a good comparison, I guess.
Because this is a gambling thing, it'll have to actually state that it's due to gambling.
Yeah, the tag will be in-game purchases though. So it says that counts whether it's premium currency or an expansion pack.
I reckon with the loot boxes,
the game will get the label.
I reckon with the loot boxes, though, they should actually refer to it as gambling.
Yeah, I remember playing
in-app purchases, because in-app purchases nobody really pays attention to. So you'll have parents out there that aren't really paying attention by games like this for their kids and think nothing of it. Whereas if it says, in-game gambling would be a completely different factor.
Yeah, I remember playing the Pokemon games. The first couple of generations of Pokemon games had the gambling room.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to have, under the Australian rating system, they used to have a gambling references tag on the rating. So I don't know if the ESRB had a similar thing, but I think someone somewhere cracked down on it because the newer generations of Pokemon don't actually have even the remakes of the old games, they've closed down the gambling rooms.
Mm.
Yeah. What from what I've gathered about this scenario, it feels like a band-aid to a bullet wound solution. Like it doesn't really say much.
If it actually starts saying that it's gambling, then that's going to be a major kick, because let's face it, most of the parents won't allow their kids to play a game that's got gambling in it because of all the negative publicity.
You'd hope so.
Well, yeah, some parents are unfortunately wrong and silly with some of the things they do, but it is going to have detrimental impact on the sales. Like as we discuss every week for the last few weeks, EA Games is basically pretty much about to fold. Like they've got such a massive drop in their prices.
Yeah.
I can't see that further discussion on the whole gambling aspect of it is going to deliver something positive for them. So if it's actually saying this is actually a matter of gambling, people are going to start going, well, I'm not interested in that. Although sales might rise in certain areas, but who knows?
That's the thing, though. The problem for parents would be, how would they differentiate what's gambling and what's not gambling?
Well, that's the reason why I'm saying if it actually says on the label that it's gambling, the parents will see that and they'll go, no. So you'll see that the loot boxes will suddenly start to fade out when they've actually got to declare it as gambling, which essentially is what it is.
Yeah, but the company is saying, but the board is saying it's not. Because I'm reading the article here and saying the ESRB has declared that they don't see loot boxes as gambling.
Yeah, but you've got to wonder how much they're being paid. The ESRB's had some unusual rulings at times and responses to questions.
They're an industry regulated, well, not industry regulated. They're a non-government regulation body that's created by the industry. So
well, that's it. It's
if anyone has a stake in the industry there, that's an obvious conflict of interest.
Well, that's it. Like they're owned by the industry, so therefore they're going to rule in favour of the industry to be allowed to go ahead. But the thing is that this is in response to, was it Senator Maggie Hassan of New Hampshire sent an open letter to the ESRB asking them to review the completeness of its ratings and so forth. So yeah, this is a Band-Aid response, but it's not going to be suitable and acceptable. I reckon there's going to be a massive kerfuffle kicking on.
So thinking about it, it's such a broad topic that I feel like almost every game is going to get this, no matter what the actual purchasable content is. They're all going to get an in-game purchases tag. So it's just going to be meaningless. It's not going to tell you anything about the game.
Yeah. And what strikes me about this is that how the studios are going to suffer with this. Like, you will see, like, EA, like, for example, is suffering as right now. Like, I wonder how many other studios are going to fall down because of this ruling.
I don't think anyone will.
But the main thing with the studios like EA suffering, a fair amount of that is actually being brought on by themselves with just a poor performance for a very long period of time. If you look at the quality of their games, they haven't really been keeping up with the way that they used to operate. Like one of their major brands was Need for Speed, and it just kept getting more and more away from the original line of what it was about.
Yeah, I remember it was just horrible. The practice, the game itself looked horrible. Like, the graphics was just terrible to look at, and it was unplayable. It was unplayable at this current generation. To have a game like that, it's just terrible.
But one of the other things with that letter from the senator is she pointedly said that she wants the ESRB to take into account the potential harm that these microtransactions can have on children. So this is the senator from New Hampshire, and they've just recently had the shooting in Florida, so everyone's going to be touchy about kids getting screwed over by anybody at the best of times, and at the present point, the ESRB's really got to step up and not just say, in-game purchases. They've actually got to address it as, hey, you know what, we've got the in-game purchases, but there is also a gambling aspect to it.
Yeah.
They've actually got to step up and really be honest about it and be genuine.
Yeah. What strikes me is how long they've taken to come up with a ruling like this. That strikes me as was this opportunistic, or was this a knee-jerk reaction? Or
I think it's a knee-jerk. What do you reckon,
Yeah.
Professor?
It feels very knee jerk. Okay then.
Sorry. Sorry.
We have a cross line here.
Alright.
He's
So-
started spouting off some nonsense. Just ignore him.
Alright, let's go to the final. Metal Gear Solid survives hidden
Sorry,
surprise.
you're breaking up there.
Sorry. So let's go on to the final topic, which was Metal Gear Solid survives hidden surprise.
Yeah, so the new Metal Gear game, Metal Gear Survive, which is, from what I've heard, a Metal Gear game in name only, is going to charge $10 for a save slot.
Oh, really? $10 for a save slot?
Yeah, this is
Ah,
bloody ridiculous.
So this is the stupidity, like we were saying about with EA, where they're ignoring the consumer and only seeing us as a cash cow and not delivering product. Like, and the same with Samsung and Apple. Samsung's taking control of the market by delivering great products. Apple's all about the hype and only responding after someone does something that means they've got to step up.
and this is just like another loot box. This is another loot box gimmick.
Yeah,
Looks like there's going to be another studio going up on the market soon. So if anyone wants
they
to,
make all that money from pachinko.
but come on, like doing something like this is going to be a massive downturn
For Konami, maybe, yeah.
Hopefully, the gaming people find somewhere worthwhile to go. I doubt that if Konami decides to shut down the gaming arm and just keep pachinko, that's their business. But hopefully, the people who are responsible for games like Metal Gear get to move on to somewhere.
Well, Kojima right now must be laughing right now and saying, "Ha ha! Look at Konami surviving without me, and they're doing a piss poor effort."
Language.
The optimum situation would be for Konami to dissolve the gaming arm and sell off the IP, and for Kojima to be able to pick up the people he likes from Konami and his IP, so he can keep creating the games he's famous for.
We can hope that could happen, but yeah, because this is purely profit driven. It's not about trying to make the game better or anything like that. And if a game's being made so it's better, people are going to want to buy it. And the amount of money we're paying for games now compared to what we used to pay 30, 40 years ago, it's just getting ridiculous. So if we're going to be paying so much money, the quality's got to be there.
Yeah, and might I add that with Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Survive, like I've seen the reviews, I've seen Angry Joe's review about this game, and he said it was long, boring, and the save slot fiasco is just a big kick basically. Like it doesn't do anything; it just makes people turn off from playing Metal Gear.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and
it's just the greed option.
Yeah, it's a money grab that doesn't improve the game. It doesn't do anything else. It's just
you're literally not playing for any content. You're paying for something you already own, which is storage space on your console or computer. It's not like an MMO where you have to buy a new character because they're hosting the servers with your character data. Like that's at least partway justifiable, but this is just dumb.
Yeah, it just makes Konami look terrible, more worse than EA. Like Kojima has the last laugh now because of his exit from the company. It just makes him say like, "I told you so."
Yeah.
Anyways, we better wrap this up. But before we wrap it up, we've got a brief mention. Bud Luckey, from the lead animator for Toy Story's Woody, recently passed away at the age of 83. His son released a statement saying that he was battling an extended illness, and he'll be sorely missed from all Disney fans. Rest in peace, buddy. Rest in peace. Would you guys like to add anything?
No,
Just
you've
that-
covered it.
When you say it like that, because you say Buddy a lot, I don't know if you're saying rest in peace, Bud, as in Bud Lucky, or rest in peace, Buddy, as in you just feel like saying Buddy.
Yeah. Well, I would just like to say Bud. But anyways, let's wrap it up. Anyways, thanks for listening to our listening to the show today. You can visit us at the that's not Canon Productions. Just follow us. Just follow us in the link and listen to our podcast. And you can leave a comment there. Or you can follow us on our Nerds Amalgamated Facebook page. Just leave us a like and a post. Thank you for listening.
So long.
See you next week.